Hi Gemini, and welcome to your monthly reading. I hope that everybody's doing well. I want to say thank you again for all the support. I'm still working hard to get all of these out. They'll be out probably the 1st or 2nd, as you know. I still have a little bit of difficulty in breathing and speaking and smiling, things that I like to do. So I'm going to try to just stay focused on the messages this month and get through this quicker. I want to remind everybody that you can use this for your rising, your sun, and your moon. I design it for the sun, so if you don't know anything else, that's perfect. But if you happen to know all three, then you can look at those and weigh them according to which sign. With that being said, let's take a look now at your channeled information. Your channeled information this month is really to stay focused and not give up. So that is it, don't give up. And when I say this, I mean that if there's anything in your life that you've been working hard at trying to accomplish, perhaps a positive change in your health, trying to get something in your career that you've been hoping and dreaming to do, making that happen, or going after an educational goal or something like that, I want you to continue to work towards that, even though you may not see everything this month progressing. Sometimes when we're working on something that really is important to us, we're kind of in the ebbs and flows, and you might be in a period where you're just kind of waiting, and I don't want you to let go, particularly if you've done a lot of hard work to get where you're at. So take this month as a chance to look back over your shoulder and see, perspective-wise, how long you've been spending on this dream or on your current track, and just check in and see how it feels. Go ahead and see how much is left, but in the case of where you've worked really hard and you only have a little bit left but you're impatient, I'm asking you to hold on if you can. If there's still a lot to do, then go back to the core motivation of why is this important? Are you doing it for yourself, for your children, for your family, for your own soul? Whatever it is that is your motivation, ground yourself in that motivating element and don't give up. All right, let's take a look now at the cards and see what they have in store for you. For those of you that are new, just a quick rundown on my process. I like to begin with the Celtic Cross. I also pull a Catalyst card, which connects everything, and then I expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. So let's go ahead and see what's in store. And I'll pull each card up and describe it so that you can see and understand what's going on. Let's take a look now at the catalyst for this month and see if there's additional insight on how everything's connected, how things are going to get started. We have the wheel in reverse, and the wheel in reverse is saying don't force timing, and don't forget to pay attention to your money situation as well. So timing is key. If there's either a delay or a deadline that is important for your project, remember it, work with it. Some things can't be shifted. That's why the wheel's reversed. The other part of this is definitely take a look at money. Things could either be going in a direction that you don't like, or there's room for improvement with overall financial stability. So I want you to adjust as needed there. Okay. Now let's take a look at all of the cards. And right at the center we have the King of Swords in reverse. And this is telling me that there could be some delays in communication this month too. You may be waiting to hear from someone, and it could be frustrating. Or when you hear back, it could be perhaps not exactly the news that you were hoping for with swords reversed. They may be very direct, and they may also be sort of skirting around the issue. If you wanted some sort of an answer, they're either giving you not what you want to hear, or they're saying something that is what they think constructive but may just end up sounding critical. As an aspect of your own personality, you want to be cautious that you don't display those qualities either. Try to be emotionally sensitive to people around you, be empathic, and it's not about sugarcoating, it's just about understanding their point of view before delivering the information. We have Seven of Pentacles on top of that, so again, there is some issues with money this month. You want to work on improving the flow of money, attacking any sort of debts or any contractual obligations that you have for payments, etc. Make sure they're being met this month. This is also a card of steady growth and improvement. So if you started to make changes to improve your money flow or to reduce your debt to profit ratio, then keep doing it. It's a positive change you've made, but it takes time. And you might have to explain to others what some of these changes are about, particularly if you own a company and there's cost cutting, etc. As we're looking into the past, there's a card of fear we have the moon in reverse. And the moon, whether it's upright or reverse, is about not being afraid to face a difficult situation, usually around hopes and fears, often around something that people would like to just have be water under the bridge. There might have been an old argument in the past that's kind of resurfaced, or something that you've let slide one time too many, rather. And if there's been something like that happening for you, try not to come across in a way that seems, like I said in the middle there with the King of Swords in reverse, you don't want to be argumentative, but you do want to be honest. So this is a time to hopefully have a face-to-face chat with someone and say, I've been meaning to talk to you about this. It's important that we clear the air, or something like that. I feel like that'll help you out quite a bit. The moon card is also attached to intuition and creativity. For some of you, there could be a little bit of a difficulty tapping into that towards the beginning of the month. And I do think it will ease towards the end, but there is a couple of there are a couple of cards here at the beginning that are showing that, both the moon reversed and the High Priestess reverse. When I see High Priestess reverse in the near future, around the middle of the month, there's going to be a chance for you to, this is something where you're going to have to just work with intuition. And if you're going to have a very clear idea of what you need to do, you may not listen to it. And if you don't, there might be some regret or second thoughts about that. So I would say, go with your gut this month. If you feel like something's good, go for it. If you don't, honor that. Maybe ask for time or investigate a little bit. As I'm looking at the very first week of the month and all the events that are kind of helping push the month along, it does look like you're starting off in a place of control. It's a good time for negotiations, for any sort of legal pursuits. The King of Swords in reverse is warning you, however, if you have legal pursuits, to have a very good lawyer and make sure that they are looking at all the details. Seven of Swords, a chance for you to step away from drama, to basically to center yourself back on what your purpose is, what you're trying to do, and get back to that, as we spoke earlier. It's also a time that you want to fortify any sort of defenses against, if you're a company, attacks on your, you want to have like a firewall for computer technology. If you have a house or an apartment, make sure your security's up to date, like your locks and any cameras and things like that. I'm getting a feeling of fortifying or strengthening defenses and making sure that you're taking a second look at everything. So just safety first there. Can also be for those of you that are building a new house or working with contractors, to make sure that the inspections are going well. There's a chance to catch something that will later down the road help you in regards to safety, and it's all about being proactive this month. With the Temperance card in reverse in your ego position, this month may be a little bit unusually emotional for you. You might have a hard time feeling like you can think your way through things. I feel like your heart's going to get in the way sometimes. So when that happens, remember to breathe. Remember to take some time before speaking or before making a decision. And also remember that whoever you're having the difficulties with at any given moment, they may not be the source of all your challenges. They're just the current person that you're dealing with. And so try to temper your how you're reacting, how you're feeling, how you're communicating with them. It is a good month for relationships, but they're going to take a little bit extra effort to make happen. When I look at your environment card, this is encouraging you, if you are in an existing marriage or partnership, to spend time with your partner. They may need energy from you. They may need your attention or your advice. It's also a card that's saying if you're seeking out partnership opportunities, you're going to have to be the one that goes out to try to find new friends and new partners, etc. It's not enough to just wait. There's people that are maybe equally as shy or expecting you to take the first step. As I look at hopes and fears, you're actually in a really good place when it comes to if you have to speak in public, or if you have to have a very difficult conversation with a superior. We have the Emperor card here showing me that you're poised, that you've done the work, that you'll be able to stand up for yourself. So I do get it that this month is very good for defense. So if you have a case and you need to go up and fight for something, I feel like you're put in a very good place. Well, I would wait probably until the latter part of the month, the third or fourth week, so we're a little bit out of retrograde, but I do feel like that will be a good time if you need to do that. As we look at the Five of Swords, there's always a chance here to focus on things that haven't exactly worked out the way you wanted to, or to focus on how exhausting things have felt to move things along. This is usually much more of an execution card about making things happen. When I see Five of Wands, they have very similar shades of meaning, but Wands is more about thinking and doing some of the busy work. The Five of Swords is about working with other people, making things happen, and it's also a card of trust. You trust who you're with. The Seven of Swords, which is your crowning card, is are you ready to walk away from things? So for many of you, there's going to be some chances both in career and also in relationships this month to take a look at where you're at and think, is it worth the energy? Is it worth the work? Do I trust this person? And are they working with me? And again, that can be part of the fortification of your defenses and the strengthening of who you are, is knowing when it's time to step away and just work on your own, perhaps. Let's now expand the forecast and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. So let's take a look now at your health card. Health includes your mind, body, and spirit. I believe the three things really are connected no matter what. But let's see what the main message is and if it aligns more to any of those three areas. And it looks like it's more in the spiritual area. We have Master Buddha, increased awareness, and there's a general note on this that we've been talking about here where it says, trust your inner voice. And I think a couple of times I've mentioned you may not have all the information, or you might have to listen to yourself because we have the High Priestess reverse. Really important that you spend time nurturing and increasing your sensitivity to your intuitive self this month. The key way to do that is through meditation, but also just through a good night's sleep. Really, we do as a human being every night meditate. We close our eyes, we go to sleep, and we basically go away for a little bit and allow our body to repair. And it's during that going away time where some of us will dream and work through our dreams, some of us astrally project, some of us just allow our minds to completely relax. And for people that say they can't dream, I think some of it is because of exhaustion, because of the fatigue of the job, perhaps all of the stimuli around them. It could be children, it could be traffic, it could be television. And so what you can try to do if you want to remember your dreams, one is to start to keep a journal right by your bed so you can write stuff down, or I just use my phone and I tap into it or dictate into it a dream so I can then transcribe it in the morning. But to get to the point where you're even dreaming, one thing you can do is don't have a television in your bedroom, or if you do, try to not watch it for a week. It's better to read if you have some books that you want to kind of catch up on. Better yet, to even just sort of have a nice dim light, relax a little bit, practice deep breathing, and allow for a sense of tranquility to come into your body and your mind before you go to sleep. When you do that, then you're going to be able to go much deeper and tap into some of that information that wants to come through. So yeah, work with dreaming this month, work with resting this month, even before you do meditation. If you're having trouble sleeping, think of some other things that you could be doing in your life too that might be impeding that. Diet is part of it, exercise, make sure you're exercising enough, make sure your caffeine intake, particularly after 3 or 4 o'clock, has been cut. And I think all of these things are going to help you. The other thing here, this card is actually saying it's a good time to go out and seek a teacher or seek training if you want to find ways to connect to any type of meditation. So this could be through yoga, you could do martial arts, but basically try to somehow connect, whether it's through prayer, through exercise, or through meditation, to your higher self, and then also work on your sleeping habits this month, and I think it's going to affect you positively across the board. Now let's take a look at your wealth card. Wealth can include several elements as well, depending on where you're at in your life. It can be school, it can be money, it can also be your long-term security, and it can be emotional factors that are perhaps either enhancing or impeding your ability to attract wealth. So we have a frequency shift card upright, and what it's showing you that this month it's really supporting you in any changes that you have to make in a positive direction. It's all the color of blue. This is a chakra deck. So what this is saying is speak up about your money, talk about your money. It's also about open discussion too. It's one thing that we don't do a lot of is to ask our parents for advice or ask friends for advice and say, have you thought of doing this? Or what about this investment idea? Or how did you pay down your credit card? Or what bank do you use? How are the rates? So I want you to have open discussions with people that you trust in your life about how to master your money, and then if there's any fears, doubts, or also insights that you want to share with people in your life, this is the month to talk about it, to either help yourself change or help others in your life change. Now let's take a look at love. Love can include both romantic and also just familial or friendships in your life, familial relationships or friendships. And as we look now at love, we have choose love, which is saying take the high road, and it's reversed. It's saying you always have a choice on what you should do, and it's not always the easy thing to go into a place of love, especially if you have an adversary, maybe at work, or maybe it's your sister or your brother and they just drive you nuts. This card is saying try to take the high road, try either to not feed into whatever the negativity is that you feel, or to try to help them, because usually it's a cry for attention or for assistance when somebody is pushing your buttons. It's not fun, but as a highly sensitive person, as a light worker, you have this choice to neutralize or to elevate in a positive, like elevate the frequency, not elevate the argument. So think to yourself, what can I do to help transmute a lower or shadow emotion into a higher frequency or a neutralized area? Sometimes it's walking away. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if someone's not ready or willing to meet you on your level, and you can't find a way to work with them. Sometimes it's better to give them space until you can both come together in a place where there's not as much adversity. The other thing that this is saying is for those of you that maybe have been putting a lot of energy into work, into school, maybe just you're more of a introvert and you want to just spend time with yourself. This choose love card is saying, one, take care of yourself, love yourself, but also don't be afraid to invite new love in. Unless you're ready, it's not going to come. So look at your life and think, am I really putting forth the effort and energy that I need to? And then if so, have I put enough into myself? Because if everything else is even, then a lot of times it has to do with working on self-confidence, working on habits in your own life that are going to create a healthy, a happy, and a balanced state, because ultimately that's what's going to be attractive to other people as well. They'll sense your energy. Are you in equilibrium? So try to get as close to being balanced as possible. And finally, let's take a look at your destiny card to see where you're headed and see if you like where you're headed. This card is one that is a marker, but it's not set in stone. And to that point, most of what we're looking at is fluid. And I say this on my website, and I'll say it here. You know, I'm giving you a GPS, but you're the one driving. You're the one making the decisions. And with this card, which is not only a spiritual card, but also a card of great of size and presence. With the elephant, what I see is, first of all, be careful. If you're in a place of power, you look at elephants and they're not always maybe watching where they're going. So be careful that you don't get in someone's territory, hurt someone inadvertently this month, etc. The other part of this is about responsibility. And so with power, wealth, or opportunity comes responsibility. And this is saying yield your power in a way that is both gracious and also premeditated. Really think through how you're going to move forward. So I feel like you can make some major shifts and you're in a very positive direction. We see a third eye on this elephant, which is saying an opening and awakening when it comes to intuition. And when we look at your cards, I see that as well in both the High Priestess and the Moon. So listen to that. There's a chance for a very big paradigm shift. And again, an elephant, I think, is a very spiritual animal, but it's one where sometimes it doesn't realize its own size. And that's where you want to be careful. Be careful of how you affect people around you, and be careful not to tread on other people's territories. All right, let's summarize everything, and we'll begin with the channeled information. Don't give up. Get back to the core of why you're doing what you're doing, whether it's relationship, it's work, it's a project. What is it on your heart level and on your soul level that has connected you to your current path? Does it resonate? If it does, stay with it. If it doesn't, adjust. Focus on the end goal, not so much on what has been lost or what you need to still do, etc. That's why we have the Seven of Swords in your crowning position and the 5 in your outcome. The 7 is asking you to take care of yourself, to protect, but also to look and see, are you ready to walk away from something? If not, are you ready to fight for it? And the outcome card is basically saying, do you trust the people that you're with? Do you trust yourself? Are you ready to embrace the possibilities? If so, there's some work to do. with that. All right, now let's take a look at all of the cards. At the center we have King of Swords in reverse, reminding you not to take to heart too much if anyone in your life is delivering overly critical feedback. You have to take that with a grain of salt. A reminder for you yourself to be kind and empathic to those around you. Money issues are slowly improving, but will take some focus. They will take some attention, which is why we got the Wheel card here as your catalyst this month. There are some things that you might be afraid to face with both the Moon and the High Priestess in reverse. It's going to come through dreams, through intuition, through just a little thought in your head. I want you to pay attention to them and try to take ownership over them and control. Business matters are really good at the beginning of the month with the Chariot, but as the month wanes on, you're going to have a little bit of challenge. We have the Temperance card in reverse in the ego position, saying don't let your emotions get carried away. Really try to stay grounded in all things. Relationships across the board will also require a lot more energy and work. You might have to take the first step to make things better. You might also make the first step when it comes to asking someone out or initiating just any sort of social engagement this month. We have the Emperor card here in Hopes and Fears, showing me that I do feel that by the end of the month you're going to be back into a position of authority or power, but there's also going to be people in your life that you're going to have to work through. This is a card of the establishment. So you might have to work with a senior advisor or someone in your life that has final say. So if that's the case with these Swords cards in the crowning position and outcome position, you want to try to avoid conflict if possible. As we expand the forecast, we'll look first at health. We have this Master Buddha card reversed, which is all about making time and making ways to connect with your intuition. And I talked at length about how you could improve your sleeping and your dreaming. Meditation, of course, being another way to do that. As we look at your money card, I think it's one of the, it was one of two here that was actually upright. The other two were reversed. So your money card's in a good place, but talk about money. Talk to others, allow them to ask questions to you, give advice, receive advice. Through the power of words, positive shifts will happen with your money. As we look at love, this one was reversed when I pulled it, and it's really telling you that it's important to take the high road. It's important to demonstrate the way you want to be treated and show that for others. There's a number that's associated with 21 here, so probably towards the end of the month, those love relationships that we saw here might be needing some of that energy. Finally, I'd also talked at great length about the elephant. There's one additional piece that comes through with that. I always associate elephants with Ganesha, and this is a month where if you've been having difficulties, it's your intuition that's going to lead you through the resolution of them. But you do have the power of Ganesha coming through as well. So if you align to that, either hold a picture close to you and meditate, or think about Ganesha and allow that to remove your blocks and fears. So that brings this month's video to a close, but I just want to say thank you again for working on yourselves. That's the reason that we're all here. I'm really proud of all the work that we're doing collectively to not only improve our intuitive development, but just to improve as human beings. That's why we're here every month. If you'd like to stay in touch with me, there's a few ways to do that. Feel free to subscribe to this channel, and that way you'll know when I post new videos. There are two different links. You'll see one that just says subscribe, and then there's also a little bell icon. The second one will send you an email whenever I post videos, and one of the most common questions I get are, when are your new videos coming out? So that will help you receive them absolutely the instant that I send them. The other way to do that is just to subscribe to my newsletter, and that doesn't require that you're a part of YouTube or Google. So there's a link on my website. You can do that if you'd like. I'm also on all the major social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I always announce things there as well. Finally, I have a new way for you to support the channel if you'd like to. I'm on Patreon, which allows you to set up a monthly donation for like $1 if you'd like to, and that would help me quite a bit, but that's absolutely optional. I also have a donation area on my website as well. With that being said, again, I want you all to work hard this month and know that persistence is what's going to pay off. We have this card, or the channeled information, which said don't give up. And then a general note, an area of your life that I want you to work on is your comfort level with money. And I want to just mention one last card here again. Talk to people in your life that you trust. So often we hide things, or sometimes there's shame, or there's a feeling of helplessness when it comes to finances or money. Speak up, talk out, read up on things. It's all going to be from either communication that you engage in or someone else's communication, and that's going to allow you to make that frequency shift that we see there. Okay? From my heart to yours, I wish you abundance, love, and light. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.